Welcome. Here we are. Episode 3 of the Extra Reel. Brought to you by Travis and Paxton. We're just in it for the fun. Please put in your questions, put in your requests. Last time we had one person put in YouTube comments, wanted us to watch the Dragon Ball Z movies. I like that idea. I think we put that on our radar, and if we ever get into that scene of anime or any kind of what do you call it? Yeah, that genre, then of course we'll put that on our list. I like that idea. We welcome more input. But without further ado, we're going to start into it with our first movie we're going to talk about. So last week we ended with, what did we end with?
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura. That's not where I was going. So we were going to talk about The Wolf of Wall Street. That's what I was going to get at. So we switched it with Ace Ventura, and now we're kind of going back to that Wolf of Wall Street. It fit the bill, but along with that, we're going to do Jonah Hill movies. So Jonah Hill was in Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, three of his movies, anyways.
3 of his movies, not all of them, just the 3. We're going to do them in chronological from when they came out, and maybe give some input on his acting, as well as some other actors that were in the films as well. I'm going to see if I can line this up right, and flip it over to the trailer.
Thanks for taking him, Seth.
No problem.
I can't imagine what you're going to do without each other next year. Evan told me you didn't get into Dartmouth. You going to miss each other?
No, I don't miss each other. Yeah, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every night. Me too. When I'm out partying.
Go to school, boys.
I am truly jealous. You got to suck on those tits when you were a baby.
Yeah, well, at least you got to suck on your dad's dick.
Nice looking dick.
I never see you at parties or anything.
Saturday was actually a crazy night for me. I had some friends over.
Wow.
Hung out in my basement and we had a few drinks. Cocktail casual.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
You would have loved it.
So, Seth, you're coming to my party tonight, right?
Yeah, why? Should I not come?
Can you get us booze?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, that would be awesome. Plus, you
The plot starter.
Well, the funny thing about my back is that it's located on my cock. So you do want alcohol? You want some sort of alcohol?
My brand new fake ID.
Wait, you changed your name to...
McLovin doesn't even have a first name. It just says McLovin.
This guy's either gonna think here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor.
I am
See,
McLovin.
the trailers are long.
Yeah.
Your ID.
Yeah, I think I have it.
There it is, the 2 guys that created the film.
No.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen is not.
And
That's
who's the other
Bill,
guy?
That's Bill Hader.
Okay, yeah.
He's not
part of that group.
Weird names nowadays.
But it's Seth Rogen.
Landlady who is legally named Fuck. I think his Vietnamese was with a PH.
This is like when Bill Hader just started like. I mean, he's been in Saturday Night Live for a while.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was so shit-faced last night. I shouldn't have fucked that guy. We could be that mistake. By the time college rolls around, I'll be like the Iron Chef of pounding by.
Engage.
Trailer does honestly make it look better.
Yeah.
For the most part.
In my opinion, too, that would,
Hello?
Evan, can you hear me?
Piece of shit. What? Piece of shit fucking fuck.
Hello?
Well, bitch slapped you so fucking hard.
What's it like to have guns?
It's like having 2 cocks. If one of your cocks could kill someone.
Break yourself, fool!
There we go.
oh shit, the cops!
Well, this is based on true events. I wonder if they actually hung out with cops and they were actually like trying to run away from the actual cops.
Yeah. So we're gonna go with playing the trailers.
Butter crunch.
Oops. Let me pause that.
Crunchy clusters wrapped in layers of creamy peanut butter.
Gotta make money somehow.
Yeah, gotta make money somehow. So that we're gonna start playing the trailers. I feel like there is gonna be some copyright strikes with that, but
I don't
I think they're more. It'd be less inclined to do it because really it's just an advertisement for the movie. So and it sets the stage for talking about it.
We literally did a Ghostbuster video and they played out the whole movie of Ghostbusters, so I think it would be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So first impressions, what do you think?
Well, I mean, first impression, if I never saw the movie, especially in high school, you gotta go back. You gotta go back in time. I feel like, oh, this could be a cool movie. You know, like this is something you would want to do when you're that age. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I never did that, so I mean, I was a good kid.
My opinion on the film is, I mean, they do a good job of portraying that teenage mindset.
Yeah.
I want to go get some booze. You know, I'm not legal yet, so I got to go get my fake ID and see if I can.
I don't think
score
that
some
ever
booze.
really happened around our neck of the woods.
Oh, I imagine.
But
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
For sure, Sioux Falls.
Most of the time, I remember
older
that
guys,
time period
older
of turning 18, and it would still you could buy lottery tickets and cigarettes at the time. Since then, it's went to 21 now.
Now, yeah.
So,
well, I was even talking to my boss, and he remembered just buying booze when he was like 18. And it's like,
yeah.
It's like crazy, you know. You never think about that.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I think that is pretty much like the main plot is buying booze for the party, and just like the trailer portrayed, just the little riffraff that happens in between.
Well,
the two main characters in there, they have their buddy McLovin, who was Fogel. He's kind of a side character. The two main characters try to pick up
I don't think Fogel's really a side character. He's still kind of a main character because
I would call him a supporting character.
Yeah, maybe supporting because they go back and forth between Evan and I forget the other guy's name. Sorry, but then they go
Seth Rogen.
No, Evan and the other character.
Oh, the character's name, Jonah Hill.
Yeah, well, Jonah Hill is Evan.
Yeah, and then the
other kid.
I know what you're talking about. Michael Cera's character.
Yeah, Michael Cera. Yeah. I couldn't even think of his real name, but yeah, they go back and forth with more. But I mean, they do focus on those two more.
Yeah.
But Fogel, I feel like, was still like a leading role man almost.
Yeah, I think he's definitely. Yeah, I would lean more toward a leading role than a supporting role.
Yeah. Because I mean, he had those two cops that I know what you're saying though, because those two were like most of the movie, and then all of a sudden Fogel comes in, and then.
So as far as the plot goes, what is your opinion of the plot?
After watching it or before watching it?
Okay, just while you were watching it.
While I was watching it, well, it's basically about teenagers trying to get booze for these good-looking women that they want to, you know.
They want to get with these women, and they're going out of their way to go get some booze to satisfy this party that they're trying to
and they
throw.
completely screw it up.
Yeah,
until McLovin comes and saves the rescue.
Yep. Yeah, my analysis of the plot, I like it. It's your typical high school comedy. Is it my cup of tea? Probably not. Like I like that, like some of the comedy, just like the cops in the trailer. You know, oh shit, it's the cops. You know, that's just freaking hilarious. I mean, I'm gonna laugh at that every single time. But it has, you know, overall, did I enjoy the movie? I did.
Yeah.
There was a lot of points that were just like that scene where you just kind of have to laugh. It's like, wow, this is so ridiculous. It's pretty freaking funny. And they had some real meme-worthy moments. I mean, one of the famous memes comes out of this movie. Fuck me, right? You know that meme, right? Jonah Hill. It was like, oh yeah, I've done. The meme kind of coincides with, oh, I've done something good, but everybody hates me for it. Fuck me, right? You know, it's like that meme, and he's a staple of that. As far as some stats, though, this film did really well when it came out. I don't know what the budget was. It was a heavy budget. Like,
I feel like it wouldn't have been that heavy though.
I I should have looked it up before, but overall, Wikipedia says they raked in like, how much was it?
I thought you said something about million or...
So it grossed 121 million.
Yeah. I guess so.
169, so almost 170 million worldwide. So here they said the budget was 17.5 to 20 million. So they made out on this movie, and I'd agree. It was a good movie for its time. You know, this came out like right when I was around graduating high school. I didn't watch it until a couple years after it came out, though. I wasn't like, I have to watch this film.
I didn't really watch it until I was out there.
You know,
I was probably in college.
Yeah, and overall, good film. You got any other? What other films released during that time period? They had them here.
I don't know.
Never mind. I do remember another film that came out during this time period. Kevin Bacon, Death Sentence, came out around this time. You probably never seen that film, but comparatively, I would probably I enjoyed that movie as well. But if Superbad was out and I was willing to watch a movie, I'd go watch it.
I mean, at this time we were, like you said, you're in high school. I'm probably just getting. What year was this coming out?
2007.
So yeah, I just went back to. I just graduated college probably around this time. So I mean, I'm sure this is a movie we would have went to see as a, high school / college student.
So, just to talk a little bit more about the story, what was your favorite part of the film?
My favorite part was when Folk was actually in the cop car and they're like cruising down in there, and then they end up blowing up the cop car.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious to me.
That was good.
McLovin was... I liked his character more than I liked the other two, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, his character didn't try hard at all, but it was still funny, like... Whereas, like, Jonah Hill's character and Michael Cera...
Yep.
Even Michael Cera didn't try hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's just his role. And even in Arrested Development, that's kind of his salon, like he's just kind of laid, I mean, not really laid back, but just like, I don't know, he just has that tone, like, whereas Jonah Hill, that was honestly, I think the first time I ever remember him even any movies even being in. So, I mean, I can't really say, to me, his character tried a little too hard.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, just a little bit. I understand, like, he's trying to get with this girl and, but in high school, you're never like that. Not that much.
Yeah. I think that, well, just like what I read in
Wikipedia.
I read in Wikipedia, that the story was based off of Seth Rogen's and that Evans Goldberg's character, their persona in high school, and they just wrote the film off of that. I mean, I think it's everybody's kind of dream in that time period. You just want to kind of do something that's against the grain, kind of be bad, and go with what everybody else is doing. You have a lot of peer pressure to do all those things.
There's certain scenes that I don't think anybody would actually talk about, like when he was looking at his pants and he was like, "Oh, look at my thing.
look at this. Oh, yeah.
I feel like I would never.
I think there's some people. You've never met somebody with that kind of a personality? I mean, I'm not like being from the Midwest. Maybe you don't really get that a lot, but I imagine there's some places out there. You go to like some bigger schools. You go to some bigger areas. People tend to not really give a crap
and I guess
what you
based in
think
Amsterdam, so I'm sure that's how it is up there. Probably.
Well, I think it was in Vancouver.
Or Vancouver,
yeah.
sorry.
So, regardless, I mean, it is what it is.
I'm sure they're more chill there.
So we got no input from this film, but we're sitting at about the 15-minute mark, so I think this is a good point to just give our rating and move on to the next film. If anybody's got any input, give us a holler.
We're still going out 5, right?
Yeah, out of 5. So just to recap, you gave the Chum Scrubbers last week a 3 out of 5. I gave it a 3.6. You gave Crank a 4. I gave it a 3.9. And you did
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
I think it was like a 4.8 or something.
You did 4.8. I did 4.5. So, oh man, I really spread those out quite a bit. Honestly, I would have probably, if I could do it over again, I would bump up my Chum Scrubbers rating. And you know, I was too focused on getting everything kind of racked and stacked when really there are some that could probably be the same. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
You give them that
false
rating because you kind of want to stick it in somewhere, probably where it shouldn't be.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's even like Ace Ventura, it's like 4.8.
Yeah.
That's how I was like.
It's like, okay,
I don't want to give it a 5.
Give it a 5, then there's no room for improvement. There's got to be something wrong with this. There's got to be something to improve.
That's why I give it at least 4.5.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Like, Crumb Scrubber, to me, it just wasn't. I mean, it was a realistic film.
Yeah.
I mean, that portrays more of real life than most of the. I mean, there's some of it was like.
Yeah, I know it was far fetched. It was pretty far fetched.
But I
think that's why I like it though.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Superbad, they're more. It's more realistic.
I feel like that's still like in that
the Chum Scrubber
range.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little bit more funnier, so I would give it more of a higher rating. I think. Not by much though, honestly.
All right, what do you got?
Are we gonna do all 3, or are we just gonna go?
Just do the
one by one.
One by one.
So Superbad, I'll give it a little bit more than Chum Scrubber. I'll go like 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
I mean, this wasn't the greatest movie of all time. I feel like Ace Ventura is a lot funnier.
Yeah.
Just because how Jim Carrey portrays. This movie is funny, but I don't really like that kind of comedy.
I would agree with the critics on this one. It was a pretty well put together film overall. Not my cup of tea if I were to like choose to watch a film. I've watched some trash TV over the years, so I feel like I can.
If you had this or Ace Ventura,
I don't consider this movie trash at all.
No,
it's a really good film.
Like if I had picked this between I can't think of any other movies right now. Like if I had picked this Superbad to like.
Yeah. Like today you're going to go to the movies and this was up on a poster there.
Depending
you might consider it.
Yeah, I'd still consider it though. It just depends on the movie. Like if Ace Ventura, if we went to the movie theaters right now, Ace Ventura is playing, Superbad is playing, what would you rather go watch? Probably Ace Ventura.
Yeah, but a lot of movies when you go to the movie theaters, you haven't watched the film. You're basing it off the trailer.
That's what I'm saying.
Basing it off the trailer, I would have really wanted to go see that film.
Even if I saw the trailer from Ace Ventura and Superbad, you're telling me you'd still pick Superbad over Ace Ventura?
Given just judging by the trailers, maybe. Because I don't know what's in Ace Ventura. You know, if I'm choosing both of those and you're just watching the trailer of Ace Ventura,
you're
just watching the trailer.
The trailer for Ace Ventura is even hilarious.
No, it's good. I agree. But you don't know what else is in the film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns.
I feel like the trailer was more just goofiness.
Yeah.
Whereas the movie had more serious side to it.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Superbad is kind of both in the trailer, I guess.
I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a even 4, which stacks it above Crank. I enjoyed it. I could say this over and over again. Some of my favorite parts are just buying the alcohol. I love that scene where he's sitting there just kind of stressing out. Everything's kind of zooming into him, and he's like freaking out. Like I don't know, man.
That's me loving though.
Yeah, no, it's a great acting scene. You know, it portrays that kind of anxious, to not get caught. But I have my fake ID. I can get through this, and then the guy comes in and
Well, even the two characters
robs him.
like, what is taking McLovin so long?
Yeah.
And then they see the cops and are like, oh,
Like,
shit,
he got busted. And it
then he
was
ends up-
completely opposite of what was going on. And I like that about the film. Like,
But
you have to take it from everybody's perspective.
But they still betrayed it as he got arrested. So those two absolutely believed McLovin was arrested.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
that's their perspective.
Evidence or something.
That's exactly it. That's their perspective.
Yeah.
They're sitting there like, oh no, he got caught. So they got to act accordingly to that. Whereas McLovin's like,
so now they're trying
man, I just got beat up, and the cops giving me a ride to the party. This is great.
Now they're trying to figure out another way to source beer now because he already promised that one girl, hey, I'm gonna get you alcohol for your party.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly where he gets beer, but he's sitting there pouring out laundry detergent
so they
out
can
of a
put
jug
it,
so he can put
it-
alcohol in so that way if they ever got caught, well, it's just laundry.
Just the classic part
but
of the
that
movie.
would be just so nasty. Even if you try washing that stuff out.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's no way. There's just no way.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't like beer by itself, but to put laundry detergent. And I think they even tried pouring it, and it was like a green or blue color. And they're like, what's up with the funky color?
Oh yeah. All right, let's move on to Jonah Hill's next film.
Wolf of Wall
lot of good actors in this film.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot.
Heavy hitters, I would say, A-listers, whatever. But
that's why I felt like Wolf of Wall Street was more of.
Let's go back. Get this figured out here quick.
I think you gotta escape out of this.
No.
Oh yeah, well yeah. You know what I meant. Full screen it first. We're still learning, folks. We'll get this yet. I think you just click anywhere.
Alright, let's watch it.
This is the trailer of Wolf of Wall Street.
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million.
Also based on a true story.
Pissed me off.
Based, loosely based.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like Superbad is too.
Make a name for ourselves.
Nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is? Fugazi. It's fake. Yeah, fugazi, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
Is all this legal? Absolutely not. We were making more money than we knew.
Maggie
We
Robbie.
don't work for you, man.
Yeah, my money takes you. Technically, you do work for me.
What's wrong with Daddy?
That was one of the funnier parts. And then,
I like this part.
oh yeah.
They just can drink it.
How does this actually work? There's a big money sign. They get launched at. Or they stick. This is their gift, okay? They're built to be thrown like a lawn dart.
Yes.
Stop. Okay? Safety first. Safety is first. I don't want to get a bad reputation.
Like how his character does that later on too.
Yeah.
I mean, like later on.
Such a good influence.
This is how you screw your clients over. Because at that point, he was still like, I'm willing to give my clients the best I can do for them. Advertisement.
Let's move back to the scene. So, if you haven't seen it, it's The Wolf of Wall Street. Jonah Hill plays this. He's more of a supporting role in this, I would say.
I would say it's more supporting role in this one.
You have the main character, who is Jordan Belfort, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Great film. I really enjoyed this one when it first came out. I didn't watch it right away as much as I wanted to. It was probably 6 months after it came out before I had actually watched it.
I honestly
But
don't remember when
since
I watched
then,
it.
I've watched some of the scenes, some of the recaps, so I could get a good idea of what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. Since we're talking about Jonah Hill, he plays a supporting role. Coincided with last week, we talked about a lot of drug use films. This one, a lot of drug use, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what I would label this film as. It's big Wall Street, enjoying New York, drugs, sex, all the above.
Well, and it's the American way that builds your company, and that's. I
Yep,
feel like that was at the beginning. Like he wanted to do something great for his company, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then the drugs took over, and then he just
I think it was like, okay,
went beyond.
I think it's just the American greed as well that really portrayed in this one too. Like maybe you want to do something that helps your family out, and then you get to the line of, well, I could just do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and before you know it, everything's kind of boiling over, I would say.
Because I don't know if you remember, but he was married before he met the other girl, and so like
Naomi. Yeah, that was a huge scene in the film. Is when they went through. Divorce. Like I would call it a divorce. They don't really specify it, but obviously he gets divorced.
Yeah, he has to get divorced.
That was a huge scene in the film when she catches him with Naomi in the limousine, which was kind of a huge turning point in the film where he's like, okay, I guess this is it then. I'm gonna move on and do some. Do some more dirty Wall Street deeds. It's like. And that kind of portrayed into the film where that's how they were attracting a lot of their workers too.
I feel the tipping point was when he met Matthew McConaughey because he was still the goody goody.
He was doing the
and
penny
Matthew
sales.
McConaughey is like
penny stock sales.
Yeah, this is when he just got his job doing penny stock sales. Matthew McConaughey was probably like a senior leader there. And I feel like that was a tipping point because he was still at that point where he wanted to do good for himself and his clients.
So you would think he would turn into more of the Wolf of Wall Street after he met Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I feel like once he met Matthew McConaughey,
I think they were at that level though where they're probably dealing with more bullshit, more volume, more people you have to deal with.
Well, that business went out. That company he was working for went out of business, and then they didn't really explain why. I don't think in the movie.
Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons why the Jordan Belfort was went under or got caught with some legal trouble was because he was doing a lot of the shady shit. Like,
oh, this is his company. I'm not going to be talking about his company afterward. I'm talking about the one for the penny stocks.
Oh, sure.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Because he got basically like.
I thought Matthew McConaughey's character was like the upper echelon of New York.
He was just like a leader there in that company.
Oh, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, he was like penthouse suite from some of the bigger buildings there. Was it the penny stock? I thought it was further along.
No, it was a penny stock where he started.
That I think you're mixing it up. I want to say it was.
No, because I just watched it.
Okay.
I just watched it a couple days ago. Because that's when he first meets him was in that penny stock.
So okay, and that's where he met Matthew McConaughey. You're probably right. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm mixing up my scenes. Okay, what is your favorite scene of the film? Since you just watched it.
There's a lot of funny parts to it.
It doesn't come off as a comedy though. It's more of a.
No, I know. Well, it's serious.
Just like a documentary style film.
I feel like that stuff that this guy, this is loosely based on a true story. I feel like a lot of it was, because there was one scene where he's in his nice, I think it was like a Porsche or something. He drives it, and then he gets a golf club. He just took a bunch of like oxys or something. I don't remember what they were. Quaaludes, that's what it was.
I don't know.
It was something like that.
That's the first time I ever heard of Quaaludes.
It was something really like something that he said that even in the movie he's like this was discontinued a long time ago because it did certain things. Yeah. But it was so old that it just took forever.
Sure.
So him and that Donnie
nothing's going on.
Yeah, nothing's going on. And then finally he just boom, it just hit him all at once.
I think I like that scene too, where everybody just kind of everything slows down for him. They're like.
Well, he's on the line with his lawyer. The lawyer's like, "Do not talk on your phones at home, because they're bugged."
Yeah.
And Donnie's sitting on the phone, and so I don't remember how he knew that, but he had to get home, and then he like sits there and he thinks he made it clear without hitting nothing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, blah, blah, and they're like, well, I can't hear you, which is weird because he's like, looks like he just had a seizure or something. And that dying, it looks like he's fine, but maybe it's because of weight or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that dying took way more pills than he did.
I think Jonah Hill on drugs saying Steve Madden was my favorite part of the film.
Steve Madden.
Steve Madden.
Well, it was one of his friends that they sucked
Yeah,
it in.
and another part that I enjoyed in this film was breaking what they call the fourth wall. Like, there's a narrator that narrates it, right? But during the film, they have scenes where he's narrating it. I thought that was really cool. I mean, there's probably other films that have done it, but this film, I thought that was a good point to talk about stuff. You know, I wish they would have broke down things a little more, taught you a little more, but they did just for show. Like, he's drinking the orange juice glass and he's talking about his life. This is when I did this, that, and the other thing. He throws his glass and he's getting to the helicopter and they take off. And
well, I don't think they want to get it, like, they probably didn't want to take it, like, too much because then they think it would take away from the film, maybe.
No, I thought it was, I mean, a lot of films just narrate. You just have, like, the main character, maybe he's narrating about a younger self, you know, just regardless. While this film, it's narrating while things are happening. Like, I thought that was a really good add-on to the film. They did a good job with it. And there were, like, heavy scenes, too. They weren't just, like, basic walking scenes. You know, he's getting in the helicopter.
Well, he wants to explain why he's doing
Absolutely, absolutely. But I'm just talking about the scene in general. Just how great those scenes were. I mean, I liked them. Another scene that I liked was him getting into the Porsche when he's on the drugs, where it just takes him forever to do it. You know, he's crawling down the stairs, but it just looks like it's forever to get to the
Man, when he fell down those stairs, I was like, oh, like, once those things wore off, that had to hurt.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't know if you remember that scene, but like, he's like, I was like, ow, ow, ow.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think, and you said that also one of your other favorite scenes is when the FBI came on his boat to try to, like, talk to him. And it was funny to do because his lawyer's like, do not talk to the FBI. Whatever you do, don't talk to him.
And he's bragging to the FBI.
And he's sort of being cocky to the FBI. It's like...
I like that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes of the film.
Yeah.
It kind of... I don't know if it necessarily humbles him, but it's got to humble him to a certain extent because they're on to him at that point.
I think he just thought he could try to get away with it more.
Yeah, I like how that scene starts off friendly. Like they're both really friendly with each other. And then they're just like that. Can you say that again? And that's when the scene transitioned to, okay, F you. Okay, you said, yeah, we're going to get you. Yep. Okay, bye-bye now. You know, it's just that big transition
Well,
of,
it went from
confrontation.
We're friends to, well, maybe I can slip you something.
Can you say that again one more time?
He's like, I think you're trying to bribe me. And he's like, no.
I wasn't trying to brag you. That's not what I said at all. Yeah, the little gray areas of the big New York firms and whatnot.
Well, and he had to do some of his homework because he was, you know, back and forth bantering about certain laws.
And I was just
I didn't do this.
I did want to talk about like the original Jordan Belfort. Like the reason he really got in trouble was because he was doing some shady shit behind. He was selling basically I think it was into some sorts of the cryptocurrency schemes where he would buy stocks, right, and then pressure sale them to other people, boosting those stock prices with a bunch of other people buying, and then they would, with the inflated price, sell it, and then leave the bag with all the people that just invested.
What was just funny though, I thought it was kind of hilarious, is when he started getting looked at by the FBI, and that Steve Mann's like, shit, I need to get out of here, and he started selling stocks right away.
Yeah.
And then there's one, I forget the other guy's name. He's got glasses and a toupee. I can't remember his name offhand, but he's like, this guy's, that Steve Mann guy, he's selling the stocks left and right. And he's like, no, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
And even that dying character, that was one of his friends.
Okay.
From like school.
Yeah.
So he's like, he wouldn't do that.
No.
He would have told us if
Sell.
he would have told us if that was going on.
And I just wanted to like add into Jonah Hill's characters. He seems to get cast for those kind of characters. Like all 3 films we're talking about, he's kind of that shady character in a way. He turns into the shady character.
Superbad, he's shady.
He's shady in Superbad.
He's
kind of shady in Wolf of Wall Street.
Shady in this next movie.
Yeah, the next film he's extra shady in the
He's
next
actually
film.
probably more shady.
Yeah, he's the shadiest of yet. You know, and not all his films are like that.
No.
I think they cast him to some degree to be that character though, kind of like the bumbly fat guy in the film.
No,
you know?
that's. I mean, he's went on record saying that's why he's slimmed down now.
Yeah,
he
wants to be portrayed something else.
Yeah, he doesn't like being portrayed those certain roles just because of that.
The weed smoker, the certain
just because he's big.
The typecast, you know, you want to be able to, do something else with your career instead of.
That's why when you showed me that one Adam Sandler movie, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I've
never seen him outside of comedy. Never
Yeah.
would want to see him outside of comedy, but I'll be damned.
Well, I mean, I've seen
what was
other
that?
movies.
Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. You know, that film, I have not seen that yet, but
But
I
like
watched the trailer.
Spanglish, that was another one. He was like more serious and
Yep.
It's just like I don't know. It's
it
like
was like
movies
watching
that I don't
Jim
know
Carrey
what
in
to want to
23
see.
too. Like he had more of a
Serious
role.
I feel like he was still kind of loopy in a way.
Yeah.
But I understand it was more serious, I guess.
Wait till you see him in like a Uncut Gems themed film or something. Like,
well, I think he is. And like
could you imagine? Here's another crossover. Just to imagine a crossover. Jim Carrey in a Steven Seagal film. Like,
they probably would do that, but it'd be more on the
funny
side.
Yeah, it would have to be. I think they should do like a spoof of Steven Seagal. You know, just because. You know, like I don't know.
Well, it's like the MacGyver one when whatever MacGyver or whatever it is or something.
Yeah. Spoof films.
Spoof film, yeah. That'd be funny.
All right, we're at
probably half hour.
I think so.
Or roughly.
I need an update. I don't have an update, but
I'm sure it's got to be around there. Refresh.
All right, yeah, we're about at 40 minutes. We can do our rating.
Ooh.
We're about 37 right now, 38.
Oh. All right.
So, any final words on The Wolf of Wall Street?
I just like it because it's based on a true story. I mean, loosely. Sorry,
Very
your
loosely.
words loosely based on.
I think it's
story.
loosely. I mean,
No,
how
I know,
accurate is it? If we have,
I mean, there's got to be some.
They got to make it enjoyable.
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling.
I mean, like you said, they do have to make it entertaining.
Yeah. Real life is kind of boring. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the difference between Wolf of Wall Street and like Remember the Titans. I would still think my favorite out of those two would still be Remember the Titans
out of
Wolf
both those?
yeah.
Wow, that's big.
I just felt like because it was more, I don't know, it's...
You're talking about a realistic film that you would enjoy?
Yeah.
Like, based on a true story film you would enjoy?
Yeah.
You'd do, like, Remember the Titans over Wolf of Wall Street?
Yep.
That's interesting.
I think it's just, one, I think it was just because how the story went, too.
Yeah.
This is, this is a guy trying to get rich and, fake, cheap out the government, whereas Remember the Titans is more caring, trying to get, everybody on the same level,
Yeah, and I think there's something to learn about the Wolf of Wall Street too.
No, there
I
is
mean,
a thing.
you got a lot of bring yourself to a humble beginning. He was in it for the goodness of being a financial guy, helping other people out, to turned into, all right, F you guys, I'm gonna just try and sell for myself and get some commish.
Well, yeah, when he got laid off of one company, he went to another company.
That could you could put that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just saying, like, in just regular sales in general, take car sales for instance. I'm sure there's plenty of car salesmen out there who genuinely want to get people into cars that they enjoy, but they get such a bad rap from all the bad guys because all they want to do is get commish for selling you a car. They could sell you anything. This baby right here, it'll last you 3 weeks, but we're gonna tell you it lasts you. A grandma drove it, and it'll get you from A to B or whatever.
It'll take you everywhere.
This says a lot about our world we live in. It kind of reflects it in a way.
I mean, but it does show you like what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, in a way. Kind of a morality builder in a way. Kind of.
Well, I feel like nowadays
you could learn some stuff from it.
Well, I feel like nowadays
it's fun to watch.
It's just funny, like, because how people like from back then, how they can get away with things, and then how some people take some of that old technology and then try to get away with it nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, I can see that.
Because now it's like way more advanced computer wise, but then it's like dumbed down to where now I gotta try to figure a computer out and see if we can do it that way. But
there's definitely a lot more digital tools to use as far as trading and whatnot, which is good. What would you rate this at? I'm interested to see what you rate it at.
I do like it more than Crank, just because it is based on a true story. Crank is way, not it's not even loosely based on a true story.
Yep. And we're basing it just on enjoyability. How much did you enjoy?
No, I know that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I still enjoyed Crank. I'm saying because it's more truthful, and it's still somewhat in that crankness kind of way. I'm gonna give it like a 4.5. I think.
4.5. Wow.
I still wouldn't think it's still not my, top of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But it's up there.
I'm in the same boat. My enjoyability of this film is high. It's very high. I'm gonna stick it a little bit lower than you, but definitely up there. I'm gonna go 4.3.
I was to say 4 before, but yeah, that's pretty close.
4.3, just because I enjoyed it, but there's definitely some points where I could be like, maybe I'll watch something else over this one. But overall, I would watch this again. I've not seen it in a while, but I would definitely watch this one again. I mean, recommend it to anybody out there too.
If there was still another movie over this, I'd probably watch it. I mean, there's certain movies I would watch over this.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future, Indiana Jones.
Yep. And those films that we've initially reviewed, those have a lot of replayability to me. But some of the films don't. And
yeah, like the Chum Scrubber. If I could live without it. I mean, honestly, like
that's a one and done for you.
I mean, if it ever came up and that was the only thing I had to watch, I'd watch it. But like, if there was like, that'd be some pretty crappy movies.
Yeah.
I watch it. I'm saying it's like
if this was the last film on Worth,
I honestly would recommend watching that movie just because it is so kind of bizarre, but like it has some truth to it too. Like. When you told me that kid was on drugs, I was like, I really didn't think about that until you told me that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking this kid is just being a weirdo.
Yeah.
But I completely forgot that his dad is a like giving him pills.
Yeah.
And he was probably giving him pills this whole entire time.
Film. Yeah.
And I was like, I just thought it was at that time. So I was like, I thought he was just being just
like. And it's not like he was loopy and out of it.
No.
He was just there too.
Yeah. He's just motionless.
Yeah.
And so
I like that.
That's why I would recommend that movie.
Yeah, recommend it 100% too.
But like I said, it's not a movie I would just go out of my way to watch. But
Wolf of Wall Street to me, replayable. Superbad, replayable. Crank, borderline for me.
Yeah, that's
Chum Scrubbers for me, borderline. But yeah, I would watch it again. I did watch it again. I've watched it twice in my lifetime, so I would say there is some replayability. If you haven't seen it in a while, maybe. I don't know. Moving on, though, let's go to our next film.
I just recommend it because that is like...
I agree. I totally agree. First time you'd ever watch it, definitely give it a watch.
Just give it a watch.
Give it a watch.
When he told me to watch Chum Scrubber, I was like... Am I
really I love talking about it just because the name is Chum Scrubber and everybody just kind of judged it like Chum Scrubber. What are you watching? Chum Scrubber?
And honestly, it is one of those.
The Chum Scrubber.
It is one of those. You're looking at the cover and not the movie. And honestly, that's what I think I saw too. Is like the Chum Scrubber. Like, am I really gonna watch this movie?
Yep.
But he was kind of adamant about it, and it's like, all right, well, since you're like...
This is one we're going to watch. Okay. The next film on the list.
War Dog.
Frankly, we were a tad concerned with your performance history against a deal of this size.
But after meeting you two face to face, we feel like we're in good hands on this one.
We won't let you down. Sirs.
Not to mention, your history was far too attractive for us to pass up.
What did you mean by that exactly?
He means you boys lowball the entire industry.
By how much?
You guys came in $53 million lower than the nearest competition.
Oh, okay.
Now to a question that still has no clear answer. How did two 20-something young men land a $300 million Pentagon contract?
I have a big idea. They call guys like us war dogs. Bottom feeders who make money off of war without ever stepping foot on the battlefield. It was meant to be derogatory, but I kind of liked it. Sorry, excuse me, an emergency. Sorry, don't worry, I have to go first. I'm American. You seriously want to drive to Baghdad? David, we're gun runners.
Let's run some
Go run
guns.
some guns.
Give me some of that.
You're getting closer. Come on, man, go!
You drove these to the Triangle of Death.
They didn't realize they went through a danger zone.
Great part.
We drive through all triangles, including your mom's.
Boom.
Again, one of those movies, you know, two guys going out of their way to try to make a buck.
Yeah, so I thought this was really interesting, and I like how we kind of line these films up, right? We did Superbad first. Jonah Hill he was in a film that was released in 2007. This was going on during that time. I like that. It's one of those things that he's now playing in that film that, you know, he had a lot of success in Superbad. He's playing in that role at a time when he's now, you know, they're creating history during that time, so he can now play another role. I'm going to give you the floor here on some of the plot. What do you think about the plot?
Well, this is, again, I have to go with your loosely based on a true story.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it was, you know, probably true in some sense, but like they kind of over-exaggerated some parts maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it could be true, but...
yeah, I think they really over-exaggerated some of the parts.
Yeah.
Like...
Especially that part when he's in the hallway, like...
2007, driving through Iraq, or maybe it was 2008. That time period, driving through Iraq, very well may have been dangerous, but in the same regard, they had another escort with them that could translate and whatnot, so I wouldn't have been... I would have been nervous, don't get me wrong, if I were to take that journey, but yeah, they got to spin it up a little bit, you know, throw some fighting and dead bodies, and the U.S. comes to save them. Yeah, that's pretty awe-inspiring.
Well, and then just like that guy's like, you went to the Triangle of Death.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was kind of...
I would love to know how true that was. Did they actually go through that, and was there... You know, people like shooting at him during that film.
Like you said, they might have went through that.
Yeah.
But it was probably like a corner of it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they had people interpreting for them, so they didn't get shot.
Yeah, you go through some checkpoints, and there's a bunch of guys with guns, and you're just kind of sitting there with a bunch of guns in your cargo. And you're like, okay, you know, that was a interesting scene for me to watch. I like that scene where they kind of pull up to that checkpoint. And, oh shit, what's going to happen? Are they going to get caught? What's going on? Oh, we're just carrying some cigarettes, right? Okay, yeah, here's some for you. Take some. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
Well, I think they were both kind of... Well, I think the one guy was more freaking out than Jonah Hill's character, but...
Yeah, sure. Overall, the plot and the structure... Not my cup of tea. No, I would say that again. Like it was not my cup of tea.
I kind of felt it was same thing over and over. It got a little bit more intense, maybe.
Yeah.
But in the end, I mean, it's kind of similar.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but just Jonah Hill's character, he's playing a character within a character. I like that about the film too. Just like we talked about earlier, he's in all these kind of semi-shyster type characters, and in this film he was a shyster, shady character. You know, he was that character.
I feel like he was more of that shady character. Because he acted differently one time than the other. Like, even, at least in his other films, that's how he was all the time. This movie, he was like, oh, I'm a good guy. And then later he's like...
There was that scene where he's that guy who owns the dry cleaner, and in that inner monologue that guy was saying, he's like, he'll basically do anything. He'll perform whatever character you want in front of this guy just so he can get his way in a way, trying to manipulate the people that he's with. And he was that character to the end too. He was just that manipulative, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear type of character. I like that. It made the movie more enjoyable to watch for me. If he wasn't that character, I don't know if I'd want to watch it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I still feel like his character went a little bit too above.
Yeah, the way it went, like, another criticism I would give this film is it didn't have much for, like, it was like soft waves. There's maybe a couple spikes where there was plots where it was like, okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
but a lot of it was like,
okay,
are you gonna get going? It's like, okay, you're trying to build up here and there, but the 2 points I would talk about would be them driving across Iraq. That was a huge critical part. And then the time where they call him up. They meet Bradley Cooper's character. I wouldn't even call that like it was a climactic build. But the part where he gets kidnapped would be another like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? You know, and that's when things kind of transpired the way they did.
I still feel like that part when they get the ammo from China and then they're like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, financially, they feel like they've screwed themselves because, oh, shit, we can't sell the Chinese ammo to the government. And, like...
Well, first they thought they could get away with it.
Like on the theme of Wolf of Wall Street, greed kind of takes over. And they're like, how can we just get rid of this without having to do anything else? Like, okay, what if we just box it up? It'd make it cheaper. We don't have to have as much in gas and transportation. And it's the same shit, right? Just give it to them. And, yeah, it was pretty controversial.
Pretty smart, actually.
Smart, maybe, for that time. If they would have gotten away with it, you know. It's not illegal until you get caught, I guess.
Well, I mean, what do? You just buy all the ammo for double the price that the guy that you bought it for. So then you're like, and then the government doesn't buy, outsourced ammunition. So you're like, well, shit, what do we do with this? And then the one guy comes up with the idea, hey, just bag it, tag it, and send it over. And okay, it's an easy way to save a buck.
And spoiler alert, don't watch this if you don't want spoilers. They didn't pay the box guy. Yeah. That's how they got caught. Out of all the things that they could have gotten caught with, it comes down to they didn't pay the box guy, and he ended up calling the Department of Defense or whoever.
This is the guy that was boxing up the ammo for the Chinese bullets.
They tried boxing up the bullets, and he just never got paid. So he's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to get some of the details on the actual film.
You never did that with the last one.
I never did either, and I'll go back and do that. The contract that they got for the Afghan National Army, they were trying to arm the Afghan National Army, was $300 million. And in the movie, I think they said they were going to net profit like $8 million, I think, off that. Their company was. So, I mean, you're talking big dollar figures. Like the plot of the film, I would say, there's some dollar figures there. So, off of here, however accurate this is, came out in 2016. It says that it grossed $86 million. So, huge success. I just think that's so bizarre. Like, how easy is that for a plot of something that just happens? It's written for you. Like, I love it and I hate it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like, I like something well written and worthy to watch. This one, they filled in the gaps okay. They didn't really have to write much of a plot. it's there. It happened. It's
Yeah.
history. You know what I mean? It's like taking a news snippet and being like, okay, we're gonna follow this character and you know, right off of that. They still had to fill in the gaps and write, you know, a linear plot, but it's kind of cheating in a way. But I like it because it's based off a true story.
Yeah. Like Wall Street, at least it was
And that's
based on different guys.
that's
in
the
a way.
same thing, and you could tell like that's definitely not 100% accurate. They did a lot of fluffing, you know.
Well,
Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know.
I feel like they fluffed a lot.
I feel like they fluffed a lot of it. Same with this film though too. They did fluff a lot of
I
it.
thought you
How
were
much
talking
of it
about
is
this
true? Like yes, these
I thought you were
two
talking about
young
this
guys,
movie.
they got a government contract for millions of dollars. How true is that though? That they ran into Bradley Cooper's character in Vegas, and he's like, "Oh, you guys need some AK ammo? Yeah, I know some hookups. How about the Albanian army? You just buy it off of them, and they'll
Yeah, I
just
feel like
do a
there
little
had been
transfer."
some sort of transfer before that.
Yeah, maybe.
There's no way. There's like, these guys look like they sell ammo. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to come up to them and try to sell my ammo.
And I don't know much about government contracts to know how that all transpires anyway, because they portrayed that, was it Dick Cheney was getting his buddies to basically fund this war, right? So they're like, okay, we're gonna do like a Dick Cheney rule to say, all right, let's give some of the contracts to the little guy, and they were trying to play the little guy and getting some of these government contracts to fill these orders.
Well, that was the whole thing. I don't know if it was Dick Cheney, but it was a Republican that basically opened it up for small businesses to sell ammo.
Yeah.
It's still open to this day to small companies that want to do
you just get on that website and fulfill these orders,
Yep.
and yeah.
The only thing I
At the end of the
didn't
day,
like
still
was
kinda-
when they tried to sell the armor, and they tried selling really shitty armor.
Sure.
So like that's killing lives right there.
Yeah,
Like,
potentially people are dying because of your
shitty
shitty sales.
stuff. Yeah. I feel like that was a thing they shouldn't have did, because like you're basically like killing. I know you're trying to make money, but you're killing innocent people.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's different. I mean, bullets. That's still
Yeah, you're funny. I mean,
armor's worse. I feel like
they're bottom feeders. You know, they even say it in the film. They're not in it for the war. They were against the war to begin with. But if there's money to be made, why not fill that gap and make some money while you're at it?
Yeah, but I feel like if you're getting stuff to your allies, you would make sure it's better, high quality stuff.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm gonna go back and get some of the figures off of Wolf of Wall Street. What is your final take of this film?
I mean, is it a movie I would watch again? Probably not. I mean, it's like one of those borderline, like, if I had to watch it, I would watch it. Honestly, I'd probably watch Chum Scrubber.
Over this film?
Over this film. Just because I feel like Chum Scrubber is more realistic than this movie is.
I would say this they did a good job of playing it realistically.
Yeah, no, I know, but like I felt like some of it was just overboard.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Like that's why I feel like Chum Scrubber, like even Chum Scrubber, I felt like was more realistic than this.
Yeah,
it has that more realistic vibe. Where this is, I mean, I get the more realistic. I know it's based.
This is truly based on a true story, just because of the transpiring.
Yeah, but
Chum Scrubbers, I like it just because it's completely made up.
Yeah,
you have to start from ground zero and
that's
say,
what I'm saying. But it's
okay,
more
where's
realistic.
our characters? What's our plot?
That's what I'm saying. It's like more realistic than this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain parts that I wouldn't believe, but like for the most part, there's stuff that this is based on a true story. I don't really believe. Like just like the whole Bradley Cooper's part is like how true is that? Like.
I do like how they kind of had put it. There's an ending there where it kind of is somewhat happy at the end, where Bradley Cooper's character basically gives him a bunch of cash. He's like, "Yeah, I know you went through shit. Glad you didn't say my name. Here's a bunch of cash for you." You know, I like that.
It wasn't really a bunch of cash. It was like only 100,000, I think, or something like that. I thought.
Oh, I don't know how much it was, but it was a suitcase full of cash. I mean, it was just kind of like, we got to make this a happy ending here. Let's end on a high note.
Well, even that, how's that? I mean, how truly is that?
Yeah, who knows how true that is? Like, yeah,
I'm sure the guy just didn't want to be a snitch.
Sure. Yeah, I thought this one of the more saddest parts of the film was at the ending there, where they had that driver in Albania that would drive him around. I can't remember his name, but at the end it kind of portrays him that they ended up killing him because they were trying to write Bradley Cooper's character out of the contract because it was like he was getting it for a fourth of the price of what they were selling it at.
Yeah.
So if they cut him out, then they could get it for a fourth of the price and sell it to the government, raking even in more money.
They were trying to get rid of the middleman, even though they are the middleman.
They're the middleman. That was like, okay, you got this chain of people that they're trying to kind of cut loose, and the one that they shouldn't have cut loose is the one that really made the plot worthy of something.
Yeah, I felt like that guy was like kind of on their side too. Like he didn't seem like he was at all against, So it is kind of crummy that they did that, but.
Yeah, they don't. It doesn't say here how much was in the briefcase, but he gives them a briefcase full of money.
I just watched that.
He's the narrator of the film, so it just finalizes it. It leaves a happy feeling in somebody's head, saying, okay, the main character who played, he maybe got into some riffraff, but at least he's done and clear of it. He got out of it, and happy ever after. The end.
From the highlight reel that I watched before coming here, they roughed it around $100,000. Like I said, I'm not saying that's what it was, but that's what, based on that video I watched.
Sure.
Was. I would have to rewatch this movie to really figure out the natural.
So we're a little bit past 20 minutes on this film. What is your rating of this film?
I would honestly go lower than Wolf of Wall Street. It is. I honestly really do like true movies, but this is not really one of them. I'd have to give it this is really. I want to say
look at your backlog there.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at. Honestly, I would think this is worse than Superbad. I want to say it's like. I want to give it.
Then you're way down there. You going lower than Chump Scrubbers?
I'm thinking about it. I'll give it a 3.2.
3.2. Wow, that's a hell of a demotion. I would agree. Like just based off enjoyability, it kept me at the edge of my seat. I was interested while watching it, but after watching it once, I'm kind of like, wow, why did I watch that? Why? Come on, there's so many other films out there that are better. I've watched better. I know there's better. I know they could have done better. I think the plot, the cheesiness of just pulling it off the news, the plot, that's a huge demotion for me. Even though I never knew about the whole thing beforehand, but knowing about it beforehand, they basically ripped it off the internet in a way. Not saying I wouldn't do that either, but I just think that lowers the level of the enjoyability for me.
I felt like Wolf of Wall Street, he really builds his empire where these guys just kept it the same and just just raised their prices, they actually went dirtier in a way. They never really tried to prove anything, I feel like.
I'm not going to go as low as you, but I'm definitely going to put it down below a 4. I'm going to do 3.7.
I was going to say 3.8. God. I seriously was.
3.7 just because it's a heavy movie. It's huge. It made him a shit ton of money. I would say that, and I liked watching it. It was a good film.
Like I said, it's one of those movies the trailer.
The trailer gets you
way hooked.
The trailer hooks you,
and then
but it's not what the trailer is.
Yeah.
It's definitely not what the trailer is. The trailer is the highlight reel. It's the typical story of the best parts of the film being on the trailer.
And I'm not saying it's really a bad thing. I feel like War Dogs did portray that trailer in a way, but just not to. I don't know. I didn't really like it, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, going back to Wolf of Wall Street, I'm going to get some numbers off of that. So this film, we rated it bad, but it did really well, grossing 86 million.
But people were basing off the trailer.
Maybe they
Hill
hooked a lot of people.
But
and maybe there are some other people. Let's see what it got on Rotten Tomatoes.
But Jonah Hill was.
Let's see what we gave it lower ratings. Let's see what it got on Rotten Tomatoes.
But I'm saying, in one, Jonah Hill was more of a rising star at that time. Because he probably just did 21 Jump Street and all those other ones, so I'm sure.
61%.
So it's
that's
a little
interesting.
over half.
Audience gives it a little bit higher. Yeah. It's kind of in line. It's definitely kind of in line.
I mean, that's about what we gave it. About half.
I would say, yeah.
A little over
half. So we did pretty good on rating that then, as far as like whether it was good or not. It's still in the good category, and I would agree. It's still in the good category. It's just not up there.
Yeah,
it's definitely not up there.
I knew it wasn't the good.
So we rated Wolf of Wall Street fairly high, and I bet you this one was
pretty high.
Pretty high.
Well, I mean, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio. It's got Matthew McConaughey. This movie has more heavy hitters, I feel like, than Wolf of Wall Street or War Dogs or. And there you go, 80%. And that's about what we rated it.
Maybe
that's close to 80.
I did 4.3. So yeah, that's definitely about. We're higher than what Rotten Tomatoes was, but still pretty accurate. Definitely higher. And just to round things off, let's just do Superbad. Because we did 3. You did 3.5. I did 4.0. Wow, that was huge. 88%. Holy. Audience 87. We lowballed the hell out of that one. Holy. Maybe there's some glasses that people were really putting for this film, you know. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was that worthy though. 88%.
I mean, but you gotta think back then when you're a teenager.
Yeah, and maybe it's a different audience of that time. I wish they would say, like, this is obviously probably when the movie came out too, that people were rating on this and comparing it to other films
at the time too,
and it's a comedy too, so maybe it's a different level of it's a different level.
I just like how we were close on those other two, and
we're way off on this one. Yeah, that is interesting.
Want to see the other one.
Yeah, let's run through them. So,
I bet you Chum Scrubbers that
Ventura, Ace Ventura.
This one we gotta be on because we rated.
Oh, what?
They lowballed it.
They lowballed this one hardcore, man. How? 48%. You kidding me? Audience got it a little higher though, but still rotten.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't think I agree with that.
I think. Well, I personally, I'm in the same boat. I don't agree. We definitely probably rated a little higher than what we should have, but we're looking at it through our own lenses. This is just taken from a wide spectrum. So
I just want to watch what's wrong with it. Everything that's wrong with Ace Ventura.
Anyway, this is where we could get more of the info off of box office, money they made and whatnot. So okay. Yeah, okay. So people are kind of knocking the character a little bit.
Well, yeah, he's not supposed to be serious.
Yeah, and I think,
I still feel
I don't like how that gets rated differently. Like, you still have take two comedies. You have Ace Ventura and Superbad, right? How are they so rated differently? To me, the comedy is still comedy. You still have to go against the grain somewhat to be a good comedy. Like, you're not going to sit there and be like a nice polished film.
I know, but I feel like Superbad is more realistic than like how an Ace Ventura.
Sure, I get that. Maybe people.
And I think that's what they're basing
maybe people portray themselves through the film a little bit. They're like, oh, what if I was in Superbad? What if I was Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
That's not how I would act. I'm not going to. I don't care if the film is funny or not. I just don't think I would act like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I like the escapism of it. I want to be able to watch something and it to be funny. I don't want to portray myself.
And it's not like he was dumb. Ace Ventura was probably one of the smartest people in the room. That's just how he acted.
Yeah.
Because he proved the whole police department wrong in that one scene where he goes to prove that Roger Redactor got murdered instead of commit suicide.
Yeah, I disagree with that one too.
Yeah, I have to disagree with that one.
So, Crank.
I feel like
2006.
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay, 62%. That's in line with War Dogs.
I'm kind of
Audience puts it a little higher. You're definitely
I'm
high.
higher.
I'm higher too. You know, thinking about it, I could bring my score down a little bit. I'm keeping my score, but
that's one.
like,
that's one of our three.
I would have brought, if I were to, in retrospect, Crank and Chum Scrubbers swap those ratings for me. Honestly,
which is not that much of a difference.
It's not that much of a difference, but I almost put the Chum Scrubbers above Crank.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But what we've all been waiting for, I know you've been waiting for this.
Chum Scrubber.
What does the Chum Scrubber receive on Rotten Tomatoes?
We can see how much they made too. How much it was and how much.
No, I know it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
That's right.
I already looked it up.
That was one of the ones you actually could find.
Oh my god, 37%! No way! Look at the audience score though, 75%. How what is there such a disparity in the critics? Let me 3.8 out of 5. What'd you rate it at? You rated it 3. So you were under. I was closer to the 3.8 on the audience score, but this was comparable to a 2.5,
which is closer to my rank, really.
Yeah, true. You gave it the old
I get a little
grossness.
Yep.
Let's see what the box office grossed. $49,000 off of like a $20 million film. Huge upset. What do you do though? What do you do?
Definitely not gonna be a sequel.
No, you're gonna have to say, okay. Top critic. He says, despite the top drawer cast assembled for this debut feature, the director Ari Posen's account of emotional dislocation in the burbs is stymied by a fatally uneven tone and a growing suspicion that we've even been down this road many, many times before. I can kind of get where he's coming with that.
I mean, you got some heavy hitters.
Another top. Okay, here's a good rating. 3 out of 5. It's a surreal, offbeat comedy where the kidnappers are hopelessly inept, while Belle feels hopelessly at sea. That's an interesting take.
Who's Belle?
Wasn't Belle the female character?
Female character.
Who was Belle?
I don't know. Crystal was the girl
Crystal
that
was a female character.
Female, and then Dean was the main guy.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm gonna read one more critic of it. A tragic waste of acting talent with nothing new to say. Can we please now politely close the door on middle-class repression before we get really angry? I don't portray it like that.
I don't portray it like that either. I didn't like how some
middle-class repression. I don't think that's it. Is it middle class? I would put all those characters more in upper class. Honestly, did you see some of the sizes of their houses? Like those are some huge...
some were middle, but I would say the higher side.
Okay, maybe the...
I do agree with you. More we're on the higher side, though.
Yeah, so I don't know how they could say middle class repression. Maybe because they're trying to... maybe they base...
the whole class.
Was it Billy? They base him off of like middle class, so he's kind of like, oh, let's fucking throw stones at this kid because he's bad, you know. I could get that. I could get that vibe in a way. I still don't think that's like the main portrayal of the film, though. I think it portrays more of like subscribing antidepressants to kids and how that affects and the drug scene in general in high schools. Plus, it's completely fabricated, so I mean, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt.
I feel like it's more truthful. Seriously, like when you told me the kid's been on pills from almost day one, I didn't think about it until you told me that. Cause, he's just popping pills like they're nothing. Yep. But I was thinking because he's a druggie, Like I just thought he was taking them just because he's so used to it. But he's got a tolerance to it now but then he's dead inside. He's not emotion.
Yeah.
So it made more sense to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more realistic. Like, honestly, this movie is more realistic. There was some scenes like the mayor getting his head bonked and paying dolphins. I felt like kind of
I like that part. Makes it interesting.
But it was kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can kind of get if he was like mentally not there or something. But just getting bonked in the head and starting making dolphins.
I tell you what, this isn't the extra real anymore. This is the Chum Scrubbers over and over again. That's what this is.
It might get brought up again, maybe, I don't know.
I like it. Well, we're at an hour and 15. So I think we should end it there. It's been a lot of fun. I like talking about the 3 films we had. They were decent. I wish there was more interaction. I guess that's part of being fresh and new to the scene, but
we never did check it. Or have you been checking
I didn't check.
Soon?
Well, it should pop up here in the middle. I got this chat window here. People would input new chats. You could see them come up here in the middle, but there's nothing. It says
Monday Night Football.
The chat is ready to display messages. That's what it says. So
it's Monday Night Football.
We got 1 viewer on Twitch, which is probably us. And I don't know if there was any viewers on. Let's check our YouTube stream.
That's where the hello chat was, isn't it? Or would it chat for both?
It should show chat for both.
Oh, okay.
Boom, boom. Oh, let me turn this mute. 1 watching. It's probably us too. Why not?
Got Monday Night Football. I wonder if I should say something before we go live. Almost like
so get somebody coming to
draws
the show. Yeah, so draws people.
I think we should change it maybe from Monday night to
Tuesday
or something.
Yeah.
Just so we're not fighting for Monday Night.
Not
Football.
fighting Monday Night Football, and maybe there's some bored individual out there willing to chat with us.
Tuesday night instead of Monday night.
Yep. Well, we're signing out. I'm going to throw it over to the close-up. Welcome to the Extra Real Podcast. Next week, join us. You see it there. Join us next time for another exciting episode of talking about movies and then going back to talk about the Chum Scrubbers.
I sort of just change your name to the Chum Scrubbers. The Extra Real Chum Scrubbers.
Yeah. This is the Extra Real signing out. Until next time.